This is the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 4/14/2021. This is where I take a look at the BGG Climbers list for this week, particularly the top 10 BGG Climbers. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander here, and I'll include a link in the description to the Geeklist and to the subscription list in case you want to subscribe to that list. Again, if you like this video, please like and please subscribe, and please take a look at our other videos. So let's get into this. We have some real interesting stuff this week, I think. So the first thing I'd like to mention is the Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy is at 102 right now. So I think next week it will enter the top 100. It's likely to push Decrypto or Pandemic off. Long term, I think, though, Pandemic is going to leave the top 100, at least the base Pandemic. Not the many other Pandemics, including, I think, Iberia is up there, and obviously Pandemic Season 1, Season 2, and Season 0 is destined for the top 100 as well. So it's finally fulfilling its destiny, and I think this is going to continue to climb. I mean, this is a really exceptionally high rating for a game with only 3,000 reviews at this point, because the top 100 has become mega games. Lots of reviews, lots of high ratings, and this thing is consistently staying very high. It's going to continue to climb, probably into the top 10 if it gets a reprint. So that is Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy at 24. And here's another one that, like I said, is destined for the top 100. Possibly, I think it still has a shot at number 2, but probably not number 1. It's trending a little bit lower than Gloomhaven. Well, it'll probably be number 3. I think Jaws of the Lion is either going to be number 1 or 2. But this one is well on its way. And I think as things loosen up from the COVID pandemic, ironically, Pandemic Legacy Season 0 will probably take off as people start playing these longer legacy games again. I think this is a game that you really don't want to play online with people. You want to be there in person. It's a experience straight over many weeks with the same group of people. And that's really going to, I think, thrive when everything opens up again. And let's see. So other than that, I haven't seen too much change on the sub top 10. So number 10 is Lost Ruins of Arnak. So this is at 134. Again, this is going to enter the top 100, I think. It's probably not going to climb too terribly high. I mean, our current top 100 is sitting a little bit better than this. So I think it's going to enter the top 100 probably in a few weeks, maybe a month and a half. And I do think it'll stay at the bottom half of the top 100. It doesn't seem to be getting it's definitely a solid game. I think if you are interested in worker placement deck builders, I played it. I think it's a good game. It's not something I needed to own, but I thought it was very good. And if you really like deck builders and worker placement games, this is a solid game, and I think it looks really good. So that's 10, Lost Ruins of Arnak. Number 9 is Rocketmen. So this one was a hot game last week, moving up the list. As you can see here, though, the ratings are not being too friendly with this. I actually don't know how the game turned out. I thought it looked good, but I didn't back this one just because I think that, as I said probably in the last video, that Ron Wallace is a great designer, but I think he's a designer where he makes a great game and then someone tweaks it and makes it a little bit better. And I think maybe for his future games, he needs to do collabs with other designers and to really shine, because I think he has some solid ideas. I can't speak for Rocketmen, but I think he has some solid ideas, and having maybe other designers to shoot ideas off of or to help refine some stuff, I think really improves this product. So that's number 9, Rocketmen. Number 8 is Tiny Epic Pirates. So this is interesting. This is another Tiny Epic game. They tend to do pretty well. I don't know if any are in the top 100, but they tend to do pretty well because people like the small size of these games, as well as the graphics design is really good, and the gameplay I think is solid for their size, and it's a unique presentation. So this is a variable rondel action system and action comboing. I would have thought, I guess it's got exploration, but I would have thought this would have made a kind of good adventure game, like a Tiny Epic Pirates adventure game, but I'm not the guy designing these. So let's look at some of these pictures here and see what it looks like. So I do like the ships, the little cubes and stuff look good. Got some dice. The artwork is I think really good for this size game. And keep in mind, it's hard to tell with these boxes, but these things are tiny. I mean, as you can see with the dice, they are really small boxes. So, he crams a lot of stuff into these games, and I think for what they are pretty cool. And it is nice that I have a few of these, and they don't take up much space, which I think is good for people that have a lot of board games. So I think it's going to end up like a lot of the other Tiny Epic games. It'll probably end up doing well. Probably not top 100 material, but I think it's got a solid market and a solid niche. It does. I think it's doing better than a lot of the than the Tiny Epic Max, which looks really cool. I actually have it, but I haven't played it. Maybe even looks better than this because it's got the little Max with the little things you can attach to them and stuff. So that's Tiny Epic Pirates, number 8. Number 7 is Cubitos. So this one is, I think, sold out everywhere now that Shut Up and Sit Down did the review. And it's climbing up the list pretty well. It's staying, I think, fairly consistent with new ratings around 8. So I think it's a shot of hitting the top 100. I don't think it's going to, just because to me, I haven't played it yet, but it looks to me like a solid push your luck game, but maybe not as quick to play as Quacks. I guess that's the way I would say it. I think it's got some more interesting decisions, especially with your dice pool and your which dice you actually bring in and play. And I think it's maybe a little bit more balanced than Quacks, because I think that if you bust in Quacks, it's really devastating. But I do think it's gonna do well. We'll have to see if this actually hits the top 100, though. I'm not sure if it will. I do think it's top 250 for sure. So it's number 7, Cubitos. Number 6 is Crew Mission Deep Sea. So this looks like a solid. I mean, this looks like another hit. I don't know what it's doing differently. I actually haven't seen any reviews for it or looked through the playthrough, but I think the Crew was so popular, and it is such an amazing game. I mean, this game costs like $7 or $10 when it's on sale. MSRP, I think, is $15. And it's a trick-taking game. So already you have a card game, a trick-taking game, which are two that tend to not do well on BGG in general, just like a straight-up small card game. But the Crew did exceedingly well because it's such an amazing game for a cooperative game. I think it really takes, like, I know there's a debate on if the mind is a game or not, but I think it takes the mind to the next level, where in the mind, you're kind of just guessing what people are doing. In the Crew, you're kind of figuring out what they have based on very limited information. And I think another thing, so I think the mind is a fun game or activity. I don't think that it's for everyone, but I think it does have, like, 10 or 15 minutes of fun, probably. An hobby I'm not a fan of. I think that it's kind of it's a problem, but it's a solvable problem that is just randomized. The Crew I do like, and the reason why is that you have a mission to solve. The mission changes, but the cards don't change, but the way you play the game changes. So it evolves. It evolves in a way to make it a little bit more difficult, So, you're feeling like you're succeeding, but barely every time, and you're learning a little bit more about how to play the game better, how to do better at the trick taking. And I think that really just makes it shine. So I'm not surprised that Crew Mission Deep Sea is doing well. I probably will pick it up at some point. I just have a feeling. So that is number 6, Crew Mission Deep Sea. Assuming it sells enough, this is going to be top 100, I think, just because it's taking the Crew formula and maybe doing it better, even better. Number 5, Burgle Brothers 2. So this one is I think, cooperative game Burgle Brothers. version 2, which is probably the same thing again with maybe some updated arts, maybe updated mechanics, etc. Same like every other version 2. I don't think this is hitting the top 100 because the people that have it already and have rated it are probably Burgle Brothers fans, and it's not high enough to get in there. But I do think, if you're gonna try this out, maybe just jumping to Burgle Brothers 2 is a good idea. So that's number 5, Burgle Brothers 2, Casino Capers. Number 4, Oath. So this one is doing really well. So Oath was a big Kickstarter from about a year ago, maybe. Maybe a year and a few months ago, which is amazing. They delivered it on time. I think it also takes their artwork from Root. I assume it's the same artist. If not, it's the same style art, and puts into another game, which I think Root is an amazing piece of graphics design. I just think that the way the pieces are, the way the artwork is, it looks so good on the table. And Oath, takes that and puts it into a completely different game. It still is centered around, some card play, but it's a card play that's done very differently. And this is interesting. I think this is my picture. Yeah. So, so this is when I was playing the prototype at PAX South, which was very fun. I posted a video about it on a very early prototype on how I felt the gameplay was. But now that Oath is out, people can play the real game, and I think it's going to work for a lot of people. I think a lot of people that really liked Root are going to like this game a lot. And I was kind of mixed on Root myself. I think it's graphics design is amazing. I think that the win conditions are a little bit push and pull too much in terms of someone kind of has to either make a mistake or you squeak out a win because everyone's goal is to prevent the person in the lead from winning. And I tend to not like games like that. And I think that Oath is kind of in the same direction, at least the early version I played. Maybe it's changed a little bit because it was early in development and it's probably evolved a little bit. Do I think Oath is going to be in the top 100? Possibly. We'll have to see. I don't know if it's going to sell enough copies past the Kickstarter to hit that because I think it's a very expensive game. I think this thing is MSRP over $100, and that's going to limit its market somewhat. But we'll see. We'll see how this one does. I do think it's going to get very highly rated from the backers. So that's Oath, number 4. Number 3 is Mercado de Lisboa. This is Vito Lacerda's in collab with, I forget which designer. He didn't do this alone. So this is with Julian Pombo, where he took the market system in Lisboa and expanded on it and created a game, kind of a medium or light medium weight filler game, 30 to 45 minutes. I think the game looks really good. I played it. I think it's a solid game for what it is. I think there's some interesting decisions, and again, it looks really good. I think the artwork looks good, and I think it brings to life the what he was intending to do. Do I think this thing is gonna hit the top 100? Probably not, based on these early ratings, but we'll have to see. It's kind of in the mid 7s, which is kind of where I would expect a lighter weight game like this. I think Lacerda really excels when he's able to take a theme and merge it with a lot of complex mechanisms. And I think in terms of that, my favorite game so far has been the Gallerist, because he takes the gallery purchasing thing, merges it with some really solid mechanisms, and creates a great game with it. But I also think I think all of his games are good. I think Gallerist is probably my favorite. I still need to play Lisboa. It was on my I was going to play it before the whole pandemic started, and then all that stuff got put on hold. So maybe Lisboa will top it. I think Kanban is solid. Again, a game though that I'm probably not going to play as much as I'd probably rather just play the Gallerist. That's number 3, Mercado de Lisboa. Number 2, Zombicide 2nd Edition. So this is This is going to do really well. Zombicide was a solid game. I own a copy of it. I bought it secondhand to paint the miniatures. I painted a bunch of miniatures. It turned out really well. I think these new miniatures look way better than the original Zombicide miniatures. I mean, look at this. Awesome sword. Some cool machine guns, a sniper guy, chainsaw. I mean, this is all like clear human. So clearly, I think Zombicide was one of Simon's very first games they put out with, and I think this is just taking it, refining it based on their, what they've learned over the years. Maybe probably, hopefully, improving the inserts. Let's see if they did it, because those inserts in the Zombicide first one were kind of a pain. Oh yeah, it looks like they even put it it's a box insert in there. So I think it's going to do well. For those not familiar with this game, it's a cooperative dice rolling zombie destroying game, and I played I can't even remember the name, but their like medieval version of using the Zombicide system. I think it was good. I think it's definitely you don't want to play it for more than 60 minutes, I think. And I think maybe the lighter weight zombie game is better in that respect. And I do think the miniatures look really cool when painted. Maybe I'll show them in a video later at some point. So that is Zombicide number 2. I think this one, as far as the rating, I think it's going to do well. I don't know if it's going to hit the top 100. There's a lot of competition now, even in the top 100 for board games. So, but we'll see. Simon has a big name behind it. Zombicide is a well-liked, game series, I guess now, and it could do very well. And number 1 is Company of Heroes, the board games. This is very interesting. So this is based on a video game, and the ratings are insane. Initially, rarely do you see solid. I mean, I don't know if these people even play the game, but right out of the gate, clearly above 9. So this is looking like at least the people that have gotten their hands on it so far, it looks like a very interesting game. It was a Kickstarter game, it looks like. So this is based on the video game, closely captures choices, tactics, and strategies of the video game. In teams or as individuals, players will maneuver units in battle for points to collect manpower, munitions, and fuel. So I can only hope that when Assassin's Creed, which is a game I'm waiting for, comes, it will get as good a ratings as this. So let's see what this thing has. We have... Wow, this is crazy. How did I miss this thing? And look at all these... Look, the board game is huge. All these terrain packs. Wow. That is crazy stuff. So I don't think maybe I played like an early version of Company of Heroes video game. That's a lot of little miniatures, man. People are really gonna like this. It comes with church, with buildings. I feel like, I wonder how the gameplay actually is. Let's see what they're doing with this. First game, wow. So this is impressive. It looks pretty impressive from a production standpoint. So dice rolling, hex movement, line of sight, simulation, variable player powers. So let's see here. Okay, so you're gonna... I guess it's a probably cooperative game, or do you play against other people? I don't know. I guess you probably play against someone, each person on another team. And the secondary market on Kickstarter is going wild already. A lot of reviews. I think it'll be interesting. It's a medium weight game, so it's, I think, fairly approachable for most people playing a lot of board games. And it doesn't look like it plays that long, so they might have a really solid game here, especially with, the Memoir 44 style crowd that really likes a kind of a quicker playing war game. And being based on Company of Heroes means that you're going to pull in a lot of the video game crowd, which we saw with the Stellaris Kickstarter. So this will be interesting to watch. I'm excited to see how this one does. I think it's got, it's very early, but at least has a shot of hitting, top 100 land. We'll have to see how it does. So that is the BGG Climbers for the week ending 4/14/2021. Again, if you like this video, please like and please subscribe, and please look at our other videos. Thank you.